I, 26 male, bought my wife Amelia, 26 female, a dress that she has been wanting for a very long time. It was a very expensive dress, but it was worth it. Amelia has been taking care of our daughter, Amara, 4 female, while doing most of the cooking and cleaning. My sister Sarah, 30 female, asked to borrow the dress the day after my wife got it for a wedding she was attending. Amelia told her no because the wedding was out of state, and she just got it and didn't really want other people wearing it. I thought that was the end of that, but last weekend, I got a call from my wife saying that the dress was missing. I immediately knew that Sarah took it because she was the only person who was in our house after Amelia got the dress. 2 days ago, after I saw on Sarah's Instagram that she was wearing Amelia's dress, I immediately called Sarah and started yelling at her to come back and return the dress. She started crying and spewing apologies about how she really liked the dress. The day after that, Sarah came to the house with the dress in hand. The dress was white when I bought it, and it looked yellow now. The dress was literally stained beyond repair. I was livid, and I told her that she had to pay me back every penny I spent on the dress. She said that the dress was too expensive and she couldn't afford it. I told her that she should have thought about it before, and if she didn't pay it back, then I would take her to court. Sarah ended up giving me back the money for the dress. Last week, I got texts from Sarah's husband and my mom telling me how much of a terrible human being I was for making Sarah pay me back for the dress. Sarah's infertile, so her and her husband are spending all their money on IVF. She can't pay for the IVF anymore because she had to pay me back. I told my mom that wasn't my problem, and she could have got a dress from the second-hand store, which would have been way cheaper than taking an expensive dress that she ended up ruining. My parents told me that I was heartless and needed to put myself in Sarah's shoes. I don't think what I did was wrong, but it's not going to hurt to ask some outside opinions. Not the a-hole. Sounds like she isn't mature enough to have a kid anyway. I'm thinking IVF may not be a good idea. Not the a-hole. Your sister stole something that wasn't hers after she was told she couldn't borrow it. It sounds like she wore the dress before your wife even got a chance to enjoy it, and wore white to someone else's wedding too. Your sister is a real piece of work. Not the a-hole. She stole a new expensive dress, ruined it, but people think you were wrong for making her pay you back? Oh no, you are not the a-hole, but everyone who sides with her is. Having fertility issues is not a license to lie and steal. Good for not bowing to family pressure. Glad you got the money back. I bet your parents gave her the money. Not the a-hole at all. Your parents are, though, for enabling your sister to continue thinking she did nothing wrong. It's interesting that you're even asking about this. It sounds like there's a dynamic in your family of your parents helping your sister to make bad decisions and not learn from them. You've been conditioned to think that's normal. Don't feel one iota of guilt. First of all, IVF is often unsuccessful, and it's normal to have to get multiple courses. I'm guessing the dress is somewhere around $300 to $500. The harsh reality is that if your sister is wiped out financially by having to pay for that dress, then she can't afford IVF, or a pregnancy, or a baby. Sadly, having a baby even without IVF is very expensive. She did this to herself, and good on you for drawing a boundary. Make sure to draw another one. However she managed to get a hold of the dress, make sure to fix that. Change the locks if necessary so she is never in the house alone. Also, refuse to be drawn into discussions about this. She'll only chip away and lay on the guilt. Keep it short and sweet. You broke into someone else's house and stole an expensive item you were explicitly told you couldn't have. Then you ruined it. You are the only person to blame. End of discussion. I'm a 28-year-old woman, and I do not have a relationship with my father. He left our family for a younger woman when I was 18. I haven't had any contact with him in all these years. He tried to accuse my heartbroken mother of parental alienation, but I quickly shut that down. As a lawyer, I lead a hectic life. I live with my partner of 4 years, who has a 5-year-old daughter. Her mother is not in her life. She left my significant other and their baby for her sugar daddy, and I've been raising my stepdaughter as my own since she was 1. I hope to adopt her one day. She's my little girl, and I love her with all my heart. Well, last night I received a call from my grandmother crying over the phone, telling me that my father suffered a massive heart attack and that he's currently in the hospital. I was informed that he will be undergoing a complicated heart surgery which will render him unable to take care of his daughter for a while. His wife passed away a year ago, so he needs someone to look after his daughter. My grandmother is in a wheelchair, so it's not possible to take care of her. She said that my father wants me to look after the girl. I told her that it wouldn't be possible. I have a very busy life. We get home really late. It would be impossible for us to take care of another child. Significant other's parents live 5 minutes away from us, and they look after my stepdaughter while we are gone. Later, she handed over the call to my father, who sounded really feeble and weak. He said that his daughter needs her family and that I should step up for my sister. He said that I was already doing so much for a girl who isn't really my blood. He was perplexed about the fact that I take care of my stepdaughter, but don't care about my own sister. I said that she could stay over with his close friend Brad's family. He is retired and lives with his wife. They have plenty of time to take care of her. I don't have the time. I can't take her to school. We don't have a spare room. I've never met her. My stepdaughter is on the spectrum and doesn't deal well with new people around her. I can't subject her to living with a stranger for a month. My father then tried to guilt trip me into visiting him in the hospital. I honestly don't have the time to do that either. Am I the a-hole for refusing to take in the girl for a month when she could just live with other people who actually know her and have the time? Not the a-hole. He left the family when it suited him, and now he wants to be back in your life when it suits him. That's a big nope for me. Even if you didn't have your own daughter to raise, you wouldn't be the a-hole. But you do have your own child to raise, and you need to do what is best for her. Not the a-hole. Your dad hasn't been a part of your family for 10 years. Him and his daughter are strangers. This isn't your concern anymore than some random person on the street is. Not the a-hole. Those that leave their family behind for a new one don't get to circle back later when the crap hits the fan. Usually, and correctly, the door gets slammed behind them. Nevertheless, your sister is family and innocent, so to the extent you can, be careful that she's cared for. Don't let that child suffer any more than she already has. Basically, my mom passed away in May after a long illness. We miss her, but she's not suffering anymore. My mom was at best a difficult person to get along with, but I did the best at getting along with her. As such, I'm the executor of her estate. Mom was married 4 times and managed to essentially hoard these men's money and died with a net worth of about $3 million after all the medical stuff will be settled. It's supposed to be divided between me, my brother, and his kids, and my stepsister, at least according to my mom's will. Edit. I have 2 half-siblings who spent a lot of time with my mom when sick, who were specifically excluded from my mom's estate. I can't stand my stepsister, who was a horrible jerk growing up. She was mean to my mom and was just a prissy, judgmental brat. But my mom loved her. Stepsister's dad was my mom's true love husband, and would often talk about being reunited and referred to my stepsister's kids as her favorite grandkids, even though they'd never met, much to the chagrin of my brother and his wife. However, my stepsister did not even call, or much less visit when my mom was sick, and we were pretty sure she knew. My mom always held out hope that she'd get to see stepsister one more time, but it never happened. Well, it's time to execute the will. It stipulates that I have to put a good faith effort to find my stepsister and give her her share, and that if she can't be located in a year, her share is to be split between my brother and I. But after explaining the situation, the estate lawyer says that good faith is up to wide interpretation. I looked up my sister on Facebook and didn't find her, and basically he said if I do that once a month or so for the next year, I've done my part. The issue I'm seeing is this is life-changing money for my sister, just under $1 million, and she's supposed to get it according to my mom's will. However, her share means I can buy up to an entire condo complex and essentially be an absentee Airbnb landlord and just have that as my job. My sister also made no effort to track down my mom or visit when she was sick. I'm also going with lawyer's advice here, but am I an a-hole? You need to hire a search firm using her portion of the proceeds to fund the search. Otherwise, yes, the a-hole. Your mother didn't earn the funds, and presumably your stepsister's father earned the funds. Doing the legal minimum isn't what I would call good faith. Everyone sucks here. When I started reading this, I assumed your intention was to share the inheritance with your other half-siblings, who had been cut out of the will, despite spending a lot of time with your dying mother. But I was wrong. Not only are you trying to subvert your mother's will, but you are not even doing it for a potentially ethical reason. You're doing it simply to enrich yourself selfishly, and there's no ethical justification. Yes, the a-hole, but it sounds like your mother and stepsister were not shining stars either. Yes, the a-hole, you're willfully ignoring the wishes of your mother. If the roles were reversed and you found out you had been stiffed out of $1 million, you would be livid. You've already stated that your real reason behind this a-holery is to be an absentee landlord. So add laziness to your list of attributes, and we have a fully verified a-hole. Long story short, female 39, married to male 42 for 19 years before we got divorced. This was a Muslim arranged marriage. We have 4 kids, female 13, male 15, female 16 twins. Before we got divorced, I had found his mobile phone and seen some strange messages from someone with some explicit comments about nights out and how they are looking forward to meeting up next. Name on the phone was generic Alexi. I left the phone on the bed and went and spoke with a friend of mine the next day, who also knew my husband, and said he would find out who this Alexei was after work. Turns out Alexei was a man, and my husband had been having an affair with him. This was outside their workplace, and they were co-workers. Confronted my husband, and he told me that the only reason he married me was to get his parents and family off his back, and that he had been seeing other men over the years, Alexei for the last 3.5 years. He said it was a relief that he could finally tell me, and that he wanted me to stay with him so his family would not cut him off along with the kids. Kicked him out and filed for divorce. The divorce took a few months, and he did fight it and tried to keep the marriage intact. This was a sham marriage from the start. At one point, he told me not to tell the kids why this was happening, and just tell them that our marriage was not working out. I told him they have a right to know and told them about the affairs and the reason. His parents asked me, and I told the truth. His family have disowned him, his extended family have disowned him, and his kids will not speak to him. He can't return to his country as homosexuality is against the law, and he risks being arrested. He told me I have ruined his life and that he has no family anymore, and he is on his own. I told him it's not my problem, as he used me for then 19 years, and that I was nothing more than an instrument to keep his family at bay because of his orientation. His friends have called me an a-hole for exposing him to his family and community, and making him an outcast to everyone that he cared about, and making his kids resent him and want nothing to do with him. Edit. Update. For the few who seem to be posting it was a forced marriage, it was not, and we had spoken all the way up to the wedding. He had many opportunities to walk away, and I could have been shown a different suitor. The kids asked for the reason, and I was not going to lie to them. I don't know about most people, but I'm not going to lie for someone else, and my kids deserve to know the truth. Not going to let him twist things. His parents and mine tried to mend things, and the only way they would stop was when the truth was told. They are still in the lives of their grandkids, and they love their grandparents. They just don't speak to their dad, because to him, he is a cheating piece of crap, in their words, not because he is gay. Not the a-hole. It sucks that he was outed, but it also sucks that he used you for 19 years to hide that he was gay. He played you for 19 years, living a double life. He does not get to throw in your face he used you and then expect no consequences. He can be the victim at his own pity party. Not the a-hole. I sympathized that he could not come out in a conservative Muslim family, but he had no business manipulating and deceiving you, and denying you the chance to find a happy and fulfilling marriage. He made choices, and he can live with the consequences. Yes, the a-hole. You want to get divorced? Fine. You want to intentionally destroy parental relationships with the kids? Not fine. You knew what would happen telling the kids. Was he a bad father? No. Then you did it out of revenge. May karma spit in your face. Yes, the a-hole. Not for telling anyone he cheated, but for outing his orientation. You outed him, knowing full well that he would be isolated and disowned by his family for being gay. You did it for no other reason than destroying his life. You stated several times that it was an arranged marriage, a complete sham from the start, so there was clearly no real love between the two of you. You had 19 years where you could have left, so obviously you were using him for the same reasons he was using you. If you wanted to blame infidelity for the divorce, by all means, do it, because that is what happened. But there was zero reason for you to tell everyone that it was men. Fiancé, 29 male, wants to take my, 28 female, cousin, 18 female, on our honeymoon. Am I the a-hole? My younger cousin just moved in with us. We've been living together for over a year now. Cousin has been with us for about a month now. A mutual decision that I thought was very sweet of him to agree. She left her family, aggressive father, and poverty in Mexico, and we are helping her jumpstart her life here. She already has a job, and we will not charge her rent. I agree with this. I'm overall very happy to help her, and so grateful to my fiancé for helping too. We are getting married soon, though, and neither she nor I have ever traveled outside this continent. Our honeymoon will be a Mediterranean cruise, and then a stay in Spain and Morocco. I'm so excited to see places I've never seen before. He and I always try to show her around town, and pretty spots she's never seen before. We take her shopping, etc. However, he recently suggested that we take her on our honeymoon trip. We as a couple have never gone on a trip together, and when he said this, I was like, I don't know. I get where he's coming from, trying to give this girl a good life experience so different than her life has been. I love my cousin very much, and I wish to help her in any way, but I want this trip for us. I don't think I will like making this trip all about showing her how great life is outside of what she knows. I feel guilty if I say this, because I know she's always wanted to travel, but this was supposed to be our trip. I already felt like he was trying to cheap out and giving me a fun experience by booking a cruise that would do all the places I want to see quickly. He can be very stingy with money sometimes, but when it came to my cousin, he will spend it. Sometimes I'll order food from like DoorDash or something, and he'll complain that I'm spending too much. I kind of agree, so I'll do like twice a month. But the other day, she wanted an instant printer, like the pink Instax, and he bought it for her from Amazon in less than a minute. It was like $160. I feel like he doesn't see me as someone he wants to do things for. Like I'm just a reliable friend who doesn't ask for much to be happy. Ugh, not the a-hole. And honestly, I'd be worried about your fiancé having something more with your cousin. There is no way no one else needs to go on your honeymoon with you. That's ridiculous. It's your time to celebrate your union. Not the a-hole, and your fiancé might be too fond of your cousin. This is weird. Not the a-hole. Honeymoon? What the duck? No one else should be there. You can make another trip one day for the three of you. Plus, I really hope he sees himself as a father figure, because it's so weird that she's more important to him than you are. Gives a creepy cheating vibes. Doesn't mean they did, but someone maybe wants it.